I dialed Jessica's number, watching Tommy run his hand along the scratches on his car. 3 years ago, I thought having money meant I could fix anything. Now I was learning that some things, maybe the most important things, couldn't be bought or sold or fixed with a checkbook. Hey there, Jessica here. I stared at the overdue electric bill on my kitchen table, while my son Jack's cereal milk slowly dripped onto our already stained carpet. Some days, I swear the universe has a personal vendetta against me. Mom, Emma took my charger again. Jack's voice carried through our apartment's thin walls, accompanied by the sound of stomping feet and a door slamming. Did not. Mine's broken, and I have to submit my homework. Emma's defensive tone was one I knew all too well. At 12, she'd already mastered the art of righteous indignation. Both of you enough. I called out, trying to calculate if we could stretch Mike's next paycheck to cover both the electric bill and a new charger. Emma, return your brother's charger. Jack, please clean up that milk before it sets. The joys of Monday mornings in the Parker household, where everything's held together with duct tape and prayers. Mike had already left for his first job at the warehouse, and wouldn't be home until after his evening shift at the gas station. Some weeks, I wasn't sure who I saw less, my husband or my bank account balance. My phone buzzed with a text from my brother Rod. Family dinner this Saturday. Big news. Need everyone there. Great, I muttered, already dreading another evening of pretending not to notice the gulf between Rod's lifestyle and ours. Don't get me wrong, I love my brother. But there's something about sitting in his marble-countered kitchen that makes our laminate surfaces feel even more worn. Mom. Emma appeared in the doorway, her dark hair a mess and her school uniform wrinkled. Can I get new shoes this weekend? These are getting kind of tight. I looked at her hopefully. Maybe we can check out the outlet store next. My phone rang. Rod again. Unusual for him to call this early. Jess, his voice was tight. Have you heard from Rachel? Our sister. The wild card. The one who'd always been finding herself, while the rest of us were finding ways to pay bills. Not since Christmas, I said. Why? She left Tommy. 2 words that would change everything. Tommy, Rachel's 14-year-old son. My nephew. The kid who'd spent every other weekend at our place until Rachel moved to Phoenix with her latest boyfriend 6 months ago. What do you mean left? I mean she dropped him at my house yesterday with a note saying she can't handle it anymore. She's gone to California with Derek. Her phone's disconnected. The familiar mix of anger and resignation washed over me. Classic Rachel. Christ, I breathed. Is he okay? As okay as a kid can be when his mother abandons him. Rod's voice cracked slightly. Listen, Jess. Vanessa and I have been talking. We want to take him in. Permanently. My stomach clenched. Not because it was a bad idea. Rod and Vanessa had a beautiful home. Stability. Everything a kid could need. But because I knew what this meant. Another reminder of what I couldn't provide. Another way for Emma to see the difference between their life and ours. That's good, I managed. You guys can give him everything he needs. Jess, Rod's voice softened. You know this isn't about money. But it was. It always was. Not in Rod's mind, maybe. But in the real world where I lived. Where my daughter wore tight shoes. And my son needed a new charger. And my husband worked 2 jobs. Mom. Jack's voice again. I'm gonna be late. I have to go, I told Rod. School run. But you'll be good parents, you and Vanessa. Tommy's lucky. I hung up before he could respond. Turning to find Emma in the doorway again. Her face unreadable. Was that Uncle Rod? Yes, baby. Come on, we need to get moving. Is Tommy okay? I looked at my daughter, seeing the concern in her eyes. For all our struggles, we'd raised her with a good heart. He will be. Uncle Rod and Aunt Vanessa are going to take care of him. Like forever? Looks that way. She nodded slowly, processing. Then, they can probably buy him whatever he needs, right? And there it was. The beginning of something I'd spend the next few years trying to fix. Emma, I started. But she was already gone, leaving me alone with an overdue bill, spilled milk, and the weight of what was coming. Hey, Rod here. The thing about having money is that people think it solves everything. They don't tell you about moments like this, standing in your custom-designed kitchen at 3 a.m., staring at a teenager who's trying very hard not to cry. You want some hot chocolate? I asked Tommy because honestly, what else do you say to a kid whose mother just abandoned him by a post-it note? He shrugged, picking at the edge of our granite countertop. Whatever. Vanessa appeared in the doorway, still in her silk pajamas, her face soft with concern. My wife, always the one who knew what to do in emotional situations. Me? I was better with spreadsheets than feelings. I'll make it, she said quietly. The good kind, with a little marshmallows. Tommy's eyes stayed fixed on the counter. The note from Rachel sat between us like a bomb that had already gone off. I can't do this anymore. Derek got a job in California. Tommy's better off with you. Don't try to find me. My sister, always running, always leaving others to clean up her mess. But this wasn't just another mess. This was her son. You know, you can stay here as long as you need, I said, trying to sound casual. Like I hadn't spent the last 5 hours on the phone with lawyers, trying to figure out guardianship laws. Sure, Tommy mumbled. Until Mom comes back. Vanessa and I exchanged glances. We both knew Rachel wasn't coming back. Not this time. My phone buzzed. Oh, a text from Jessica. Just told Emma about Tommy. She's worried. Call you tomorrow? Just always carrying the weight of the world while trying to keep her own family afloat. I thought about offering to help her again. Maybe set up a college fund for Emma and Jack. But I could already hear her response. We're managing, Rod. Focus on Tommy. Here we go. Vanessa set 3 mugs of hot chocolate on the counter. Tommy, I made up the guest room. The one with the bathroom attached. I put fresh towels in there. He nodded, wrapping his hands around the mug. Thanks, Aunt Vanessa. The silence stretched between us, filled with all the things none of us knew how to say. Finally, Tommy spoke again, his voice barely a whisper. She's not coming back, is she? Buddy? I started, but he cut me off. It's fine. I get it. She's got her new life with Derek. Whatever. He stood up suddenly. I'm gonna go to bed. Vanessa touched his shoulder as he passed. We're right down the hall if you need anything. After he left, I slumped onto one of our bar stools. What the hell are we doing, Vanessa? We don't know the first thing about raising a teenager. She came around the counter, wrapping her arms around me. We'll figure it out. Like we've figured out everything else. This isn't like learning to run a hedge fund. This is a kid. Her kid. Who needs us, she said firmly. Rod, you've been taking care of people your whole life. First Jessica when your parents checked out, now this. It's what you do. I thought about Tommy upstairs, probably lying awake in our perfectly decorated guest room, feeling anything but at home. About Jessica's kids, who deserved every opportunity my money could buy them. If only their mother would let me help. About Rachel, running away from responsibility yet again. I want to adopt him, I said suddenly. Legally. Make it permanent. Vanessa smiled. I was wondering when you'd say that. You're okay with it. I married you knowing your family was part of the package. Besides, she squeezed my hand. I've always wanted to be a mom. My phone buzzed again on an email from my lawyer with guardianship paperwork. Tomorrow, I'd have to tell Tommy. Tell Jessica. Figure out schools and therapy. How to be a parent to a teenager who'd learned the hard way not to trust adults. We need to paint that room, Vanessa said thoughtfully. Let him pick the colors. Make it his. Yeah, I nodded, already making mental lists. And maybe we should have Jessica and her family over this weekend. Help him feel less alone. Good idea. Though, you know Emma's going to notice all the things we can give Tommy that day. I know. I rub my face. I'll talk to Jess about it. There has to be a way to help without hurting her pride. Vanessa gathered the empty mugs. Just remember, money can't fix everything. No, I agree, thinking of the hurt kid upstairs and the complicated months ahead. But love might. 3 years can change everything and nothing at all. The electric bills are still overdue. Mike still works 2 jobs. And I'm still trying to convince Emma that life isn't measured in designer labels. Only now I get to do it, while watching my nephew Tommy drive past our apartment complex in his new Honda Civic. It's not even that nice of a car, Emma muttered from beside me at the window. At 15, she'd perfected the art of making everything sound like a personal insult. Like, it's not a Mercedes or whatever. Emma, I sighed, folding another basket of laundry that had seen better days. We've talked about this. I know. Uncle Rod and Aunt Vanessa can afford different things than we can. But Mom, it's not fair. Tommy's not even their real kid. The laundry basket hit the coffee table harder than I intended. He is their real kid. They adopted him. And what's not fair is you acting like this when your cousin has been through hell. Yeah, must be terrible living in a mansion and getting everything you want. That's enough. My voice came out sharper than I meant it to. Go finish your homework. Can't. My laptop's broken again. Of course it was. The ancient thing had been on its last legs for months, but with Jack's braces and Mike's car repairs. My phone lit up with Rod's name. Speaking of things I couldn't afford to deal with right now. Hey, Jess. His voice had that careful tone he used when he was about to suggest something he knew I wouldn't like. So about Tommy's graduation party next month. We'll be there. I cut him off. I already asked for the day off. Actually, I wanted to talk about Emma. My stomach clenched. What about Emma? Tommy mentioned she's been different lately. Barely talks to him at school, ignores his texts. Vanessa and I thought maybe. He paused. Look, we know her laptop's broken. We'd like to get her a new one. An early birthday present. The familiar mix of gratitude and humiliation rose in my throat. Rod, we can't. Let me finish. It wouldn't be charity. She could earn it. Help Vanessa with her charity event planning over the summer. Like an internship. I watched Emma storm off to her room, shoulders rigid with teenage indignation. Did Tommy put you up to this? He's worried about her. We all are. Well, don't be. I'm handling it. Like you're handling Jack's braces? Or Mike's extra shifts? His voice softened. Jess, let us help. Please. I have to go. I hung up before he could say anything else. Later that night, I found Emma on our tiny balcony, scrolling through Instagram on her phone, probably looking at pictures of Tommy's new car. Your uncle offered you a summer job, I said, leaning against the railing. Working with Aunt Vanessa. She looked up, suspicious. Doing what? Event planning. Rich people stuff. I attempted a smile. Could be fun. could be awful. But I saw the interest flash in her eyes. Would I get paid? With a laptop, apparently. She was quiet for a long time, picking at her chipped nail polish. Finally, Tommy probably told him to do it. Because he feels sorry for us. No, baby. Because he loves you. Your family. Yeah, well. She stood up, and for a moment I saw the little girl who used to braid Tommy's shoelaces together at family dinners. Family sucks sometimes. Emma, I'll think about it, okay? She headed inside, then paused. Mom? Do you ever wish Aunt Rachel had left Tommy with us instead? The question hit me like a slap. No. Never. Why would you even ask that? She shrugged, not meeting my eyes. Just wondering what it would be like. To be the ones getting everything for once. I watched her disappear into her room, my heart heavy. Somewhere between Rachel's abandonment and Tommy's new car, I'd lost sight of something important. My daughter wasn't just jealous. She was hurting. And maybe Rod wasn't the only one who needed to figure out how to fix it. My phone buzzed again. A text from Tommy. Please talk to Emma? I miss my best friend. I stared at the message until the screen went dark, reflecting my own tired face back at me. Some days, being a mother means admitting you don't have all the answers. Being a sister means sometimes letting your brother help. And being poor. Well, being poor just means doing the best you can with what you've got. Even if what you've got is a broken laptop and a daughter who's forgotten how to be happy for someone else's happiness. There are moments in parenting when you realize money can't buy solutions. Watching Tommy stare at his vandalized car in our driveway at midnight, I was having one of those moments. It's not that bad, Vanessa whispered beside me, but we both knew she was lying. The silver Honda, that had been Tommy's pride and joy for exactly 2 weeks, was now a canvas of scratches, dents, and what appeared to be black spray paint spelling out spoiled across the hood. I'm calling the police, I said, already dialing. Tommy hadn't moved, still standing there in his pajama pants and the Columbia University t-shirt we'd bought to celebrate his acceptance. His face was blank, but I knew that look. It was the same one he'd worn when Rachel left. Don't, he said finally. I know who did it. Vanessa touched his arm. Honey, who? Emma. The name hung in the air like smoke. I thought about Jessica, probably fast asleep in her apartment across town, unaware that her daughter had just crossed a line we couldn't uncross. Are you sure? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. The security cameras I'd installed last month would confirm it. She wasn't alone, Tommy's voice cracked slightly. Her friend Maddie was with her. I saw them running away when the motion lights came on. Vanessa was already reviewing the footage on her phone. He's right. It's them. I watched the grainy video of 2 teenage girls in hoodies, taking their anger out on a car that probably cost more than Jessica made in 3 months. I have to call your aunt. Dad, wait. Tommy grabbed my arm. Even after 3 years, hearing "call me Dad" still hit me in the chest. Can we just wait until morning? Please. This isn't something we can ignore, buddy. I know, but... He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture so like Rachel it hurt. Emma's just... She's having a hard time. With everything. Vanessa made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a sob. You're defending her? After this? No, I just... Tommy kicked at the gravel. Remember when I first came here? How angry I was. Breaking stuff, yelling all the time. I remembered. The first month had been hell. Expensive vases shattered against walls. Doors slammed so hard they cracked. Words hurled like weapons. We'd replaced everything he broke without comment, letting him work through his rage at being abandoned. That was different, I said. You were processing trauma. and Emma isn't. He gestured at the car. Every time she comes over here, every time she sees what you guys can give me that her parents can't give her. That's not trauma. Vanessa touched the spray paint, her fingers coming away black. That doesn't make this okay. No, Tommy agreed. But maybe it makes it understandable. My phone buzzed. Oh, a text from Jessica. Are you up? Emma's missing. Can't find her anywhere. Another buzz. She left a note. Something about making things fair. We need to call the police, Vanessa said quietly. I looked at my wife, then at Tommy. This kid who'd somehow grown into someone wiser than all of us. Give me an hour. Let me talk to Jessica first. And then what? Tommy asked. And then we deal with this as a family. The right way. I dialed Jessica's number, watching Tommy run his hand along the scratches on his car. 3 years ago, I thought having money meant I could fix anything. Now I was learning that some things, maybe the most important things, couldn't be bought or sold or fixed with a checkbook. Jess. Her hello was frantic. I need you to stay calm, but Emma's here. Well, she was here. She vandalized Tommy's car. The silence on the other end was deafening. The security cameras caught everything, I continued. She had a friend with her. Oh God. Jessica's voice was barely a whisper. Rod, I'm so sorry. I'll pay for. Stop. We both know you can't afford to fix this. Then what do you want me to do? Her voice cracked. What would you do if it was Tommy? I watched my son, because that's what he was now, legally and in every way that mattered, examining each scratch like he was memorizing them. I'd make him face the consequences. Real ones. Not the kind that can be fixed with money. Another silence. Then, you're going to press charges. Yes. But Jess, we're not doing it to punish Emma. We're doing it to save her. The sun was starting to rise, painting the damaged car in shades of pink and gold. Vanessa had gone inside to make coffee. Tommy was sitting on the curb, looking younger than his 17 years. She's at Maddie's house, Jessica said finally. I'll go get her. No. Let the police do it. Let her understand that this is serious. She's going to hate me. Maybe. For a while. But she'll learn from it. I ended the call, joining Tommy on the curb. We sat in silence, watching the day break over a car that had somehow become the catalyst for something much bigger than teenage jealousy. You okay? I asked. He nodded slowly. Yeah. But Dad, can we make sure Emma's okay too? I put my arm around his shoulders, marveling at how life works. How sometimes the kid you save ends up teaching you how to save someone else. The juvenile detention center's waiting room has exactly 42 ceiling tiles. I've counted them 3 times while waiting for Emma to emerge from her first court-mandated counseling session. Mike's beside me, flipping through a magazine from 2019, pretending he's not as anxious as I am. Mrs. Parker? A woman in a sensible cardigan appears. Emma's ready. My daughter walks out looking smaller than her 15 years in her oversized hoodie, the one Tommy gave her last Christmas. The irony isn't lost on me. How'd it go? I ask, trying to sound casual. Fine. Emma's new favorite word, replacing the stream of angry ones she'd hurled at me the night the police brought her home. Can we just go? The drive home is quiet until Emma suddenly says, Dr. Simpson asked why I did it. Mike's hands tighten on the steering wheel. What did you tell her? The truth. She picks at a loose thread on her sleeve. That I wanted Tommy to hurt like I hurt. Which is stupid because... Her voice cracks. Because Tommy's the only one who actually gets it. I turn in my seat. Guess what, baby? What it's like when your mom doesn't want you. The words hit me like a physical blow. All this time, I'd thought this was about money, about cars and laptops and the things we couldn't give her. I'd missed the deeper wound. The one that connected her to Tommy in ways I couldn't understand. "Your dad and I want you," I say softly. "We've always wanted you." "I know." She wipes her eyes. "That's why it's so messed up. I have you guys, and I still did something terrible. Tommy had nobody, and he turned out better than me." Mike clears his throat. "He had Rod and Vanessa. Just like you have us. Different circumstances, same love." When we get home, Rod's car is in our parking spot. He's sitting on our steps with Tommy, both of them holding coffee cups from that expensive place Emma loves, but we can never afford. "Hey," Rod stands. "Hope it's okay we stopped by." Emma freezes. She hasn't seen Tommy since that night, hasn't answered his texts or looked at him at school. The scratches on his car will cost thousands to fix. Money we don't have, money Rod won't let us worry about. I'll go inside. Mike squeezes my hand, understanding that this moment needs to happen without him. Tommy steps forward, holding out a coffee cup. "Got you your favorite. Extra caramel, extra whip." Emma takes it, her hand shaking. "Why are you being nice to me?" "Because you're my cousin." "And because?" He glances at Rod. "Because I remember what it feels like to want to break things." "I have to pay for the damages," Emma says quickly. "I've been looking for a job and—" Actually, Rod interrupts. "We had a different idea." "Tommy?" Tommy pulls an envelope from his jacket. "It's an internship. At the youth center where I volunteer. Working with kids whose parents who are like our mom. If you want it?" Emma stares at the envelope. "Why?" "Because maybe helping other kids deal with their stuff will help you deal with yours," Rod says. "And because family doesn't give up on family." I watch my daughter take the envelope. Watch her hand steady as she opens it. Watch Tommy step forward and hug her while she cries. Watch my brother blink back his own tears. "The car thing still has consequences," Rod says quietly. "Community service. Counseling. The whole deal. But this is about healing." Later, after they've gone, I find Emma on our tiny balcony, reading through the internship details. "You okay?" I ask. "No," she admits. "But maybe I will be." She looks up at me. "Mom? I'm sorry. Not just about the car, but for making you feel like you weren't enough." I sit beside her, remembering all the times I had counted ceiling tiles in waiting rooms. All the bills I juggled. All the things I couldn't give her. "Sometimes love looks like a new car," I say. "Sometimes it looks like showing up at a counseling center with coffee. Sometimes it looks like saying you're sorry. And sometimes it looks like letting people help." She leans her head on my shoulder. "Yeah, I agree." Thinking of Rod, of Tommy, of all the ways family can break and mend and grow stronger at the broken places. Sometimes it looks exactly like that.